What's up, you guys? In my new room, currently setting things up, getting ready to start the semester again. But for today's video, I want to discuss something that I've really been thinking about a lot. Um, and it's this idea of, okay, so from the Christian perspective, we tend to take the idea of your faith should run through every single area of your life. So it should run through how you do work. It should run through how you take care of your body. It should run through what you put in your mind. It should run through how you speak, how you act, all these things. Your faith should run through all of these things. And I've been thinking about this, especially in the business world. So you take a guy like Trump. If you've ever, I forget which book of his it's in now, but he has a whole chapter on revenge. And he pretty much absolutely takes revenge on anyone who does him wrong in the business world. And when I was reading that, I was really trying to process that. But that was about 2 or 3 months ago since I've read this. And I've thought about this. I said, okay, let's take one of the principles. Love your enemies, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you, all these things, right? One of the ones that I think about a lot is forgiveness. And this idea of forgiving others 7 times 70, like over and over and over and over again, that when they do us wrong. Now, I really, this is where I think I've finally come to a decision on this, but you guys can let me know on what you guys think. If this is maybe correct thinking, not correct thinking, but how valid you guys see this. So, on a personal level, I would say I absolutely have no problem loving my enemies, loving the neighbor as a self, forgiving 70 times 70, and whatnot. But I've really thought about this on a business level. Is there a point to what a guy like Trump is saying, to where you don't tolerate it at all and you strike back? So instead of turning the other cheek, you actually strike back. An eye for an eye, if you will. Or maybe in Trump's case, 2 eyes for an eye. And I started thinking about, what does that mean? What does that mean if you do things such as that in business? Well, again, I started to go back to the Bible and I was thinking about, what does God do? What does God say? So I think when Jesus came, well, let me differentiate this. I think we should handle things differently if we are in charge of a family or an entity versus when we're just having our own life, okay? So now that I got that basis, that we should act differently, here's where I'm going to ground this in. Jesus, when he came, he took, all that mockery, all that beating, everything, right? Died on the cross, everything. Forgave, even the people who were crucifying him. He's like, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. So on a personal level, he forgave all. And he was just like loving, kindness, gentleness, all those good attributes. But Revelation is very, very explicit in terms of Jesus is going to come back as the judge. But also the reason, like when he comes back as a judge, it's also the unification of the church. Him coming back for the bride, right? The bridegroom coming for the bride. So now when he's jealous over his church, which is him being in charge of an entity, if you will, he's very, very aggressive, and he's going to be vengeful, and he's going to, do all the things that Revelation talks about, which is pretty darn gruesome if you think about it. And so when I thought about that, I was like, this is true. Part of the way that we feel love is because we know someone will defend us. So think about this too. Intruder comes in the house, father, maybe in his own life, he's willing to forgive people. Someone hits him, he forgives them. But someone comes into his house and tries to harm one of his children or something like that, father's going to snap off on the guy and, do whatever. He's not turning the other cheek. No, he's laying the dude out. If the dude comes in with a gun, maybe he has a gun. But part of that vengeance, if you will, makes us feel loved, makes us feel secure. And so I was actually thinking about this. If I was if I was running a country, if I was running a business, whatever the case may be, it actually to me now makes sense that we have to act different than we would in our personal life. So someone does undercut the business. Someone does, metaphorically speaking, throw a left hook at your business. It does make sense to me to throw a left hook, eye for eye, attack, go, because that's your family. Let's say you have 10 employees, 15 employees. What if what the person did is going to cut your revenues in such a way to now you got to start letting go of people, and that's your family. Your company is your family. Or if you're leading maybe even a higher up position, you're leading a country or whatever else, a nation attacks. Oh, we forgive you. We're going to love our enemies. We forgive you. No, everyone say that's a terrible leader. That's a terrible leader. We want our leader to stand up for us. We want them to fight. That's the big word, fight. So this was actually a big epiphany for me, and it actually sits really well because for me, I've been thinking about this, and I was like, man, you would just get destroyed if you got anything big in business and we're just super, super kind all the time. But this allows for, hey, I'm going to be super, super kind in my personal interactions and anything that you do with me personally, amen, all love, whatever. But when it comes to attacking anything that I'm in charge of, or any entity or the family, relationships, business, country, whatever, that's a no-go. So there's when the protection comes in. So again, to me, I actually see that in the scriptures with Jesus, and that's for me what grounded it. It wasn't just listening to Trump or a few other business guys that I've read with it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys are believers, let me know if you agree with that differentiation in terms of acting, what you act out privately versus what you act out by privately, I mean personally, versus on an entity level. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on that. Those are my thoughts for the day. I'll see you guys in the next one.